What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, it's because you're interested in one of the most jaw-dropping places in the world, Cappadocia, the most amazing place to travel to in Turkey. There are few things we've witnessed that seem as Dr. Seuss-like as seeing hundreds of hot air balloons in the sky surrounded by the distinct fairy chimney rock formations. From stunning valleys to cave homes carved into the walls, the city of Cappadocia is a place that needs to be on your bucket list. So let's dive right in. This is the top 10 things to do in Cappadocia, Turkey. Let's quickly talk about how to get there. The fastest and easiest way is to fly from Istanbul into Kayseri, which is what we opted for. It was an easy domestic flight. There's also options for a train and a bus if you're not interested in flying, and then you can either stay in the town of Göreme or Uchisar. We stayed in Göreme because it's the center for most of the touristy activities we'll be going over, and I also want to note that the most famous tours to do here are the green tour and the red tour. I'll note which of these I recommend doing and which of these you can kind of do on your own, but I'll touch on that later in the video. Anyways, let's get to it. First up on the list is the obvious bucket list adventure, riding in a hot air balloon. This is one of the most incredible travel experiences we've ever had. First of all, the hot air balloons take off just before sunrise, so it's absolutely gorgeous. Your guide will pick you up at your hotel well before the sun comes up, then you'll eventually arrive to a place with hundreds of balloons getting inflated. We were pretty skeptical about doing this because it was about $250 per person, but in hindsight, I can't believe we considered not doing this. Seriously, I can't advise you enough to make this happen. Yes, it's expensive, but it's so worth it if you can squeeze it into your budget. Something that we learned the hard way is that weather is the main driving factor in which days the balloons can fly, which consequentially affects the price because of the demand. If someone couldn't fly on Tuesday, then Wednesday's demand for the balloons pretty much doubles, and they do sell out, so don't plan on doing this the last day of your trip. And if you book this in town like us, make sure you go with a reputable tour company. Next up at number 2, if you cannot manage to do the hot air balloon ride, whether it's budget, timing, or comfort level, you gotta make sure to go to Sunrise and Sunset Point. But we did Sunrise, and for the balloons, that's what I'm gonna recommend. You'll get the most epic view of the hot air balloons from this point. They're gonna fly right past you, and you'll be able to get a great view of them with all the fairy chambers and rock formations. It's absolutely phenomenal for photography. I would get there 45 minutes before sunrise to get a good view because it will be crowded, but there is quite a bit of room to roam around, and bring some cash because there is a person that collects a small entrance fee. And then there's also vendors at the top selling hot coffee and tea. This is an incredible spot to visit and a great alternative to riding in the balloons themselves. Next up, we're doing the green tour. You can book this ahead of time for about 50 to 70 USD on Get Your Guide or comparable sites, or you can book in town and it'll likely be a little bit cheaper. The tour is 8 to 10 hours. I actually think ours went 1 to 2 hours longer than it was supposed to, but I recommend this tour because you're going to be visiting places that are very far from town, so it wouldn't make much sense to try and self-guide this. We had no idea that this part of Cappadocia existed until we got here, but it was amazing. You'll start the day off at Pigeon Valley and the Onyx factory, which I'll mention later in this video. Then you'll visit Underground City and onto Alara Valley, a lush green oasis of a valley along the river. Last, you'll visit the Salim Monastery, and this was a really unique place to roam around and explore. It felt like a privilege getting to explore this beautiful place that dates back to the 8th century. At number 4, we have the Underground City, which you will visit on the green tour previously mentioned. However, if you don't have 8 to 10 hours to dedicate for doing the entire green tour, this is a great alternative, and you can visit the Underground City in just 3 to 4 hours. It's about a 35-minute drive from the hotels in Göreme, and it would be easy to organize a taxi to and from here. It's unbelievable that the ancient Turkish people built not only a multi-level underground city, but the largest underground city in the world. It was a fun and adventurous part of the tour. The city dates back thousands of years. At number 5, we have Love Valley. It doesn't take much imagination to see a resemblance to a certain body part, which is where the name of this area comes from. Though this area may seem like a dirty man-made joke, these rock formations date back around 60 million years. It's one of the most amazing areas to watch the sunset. We took a taxi from Göreme, and it could not have been easier to visit. It was nice going on our own instead of a crowded tour. There won't be any balloons floating around at sunset, but it's just as pretty. You have the option to stay at the overlook, or you can walk down to the base of the structures and explore one of the best trekking areas in Cappadocia. There are also some vendors where you can buy some snacks and drinks while you're taking in the view. And before moving on, I want to ask if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's a quick, easy, and free way to support Brianna and I as creators. We met over 10 years ago and have been to over 30 countries together, and we've been creating videos on YouTube for over 5 years now. We have hundreds of top 10 travel guides, 3 and 7 day travel itineraries, and hiking vlogs on the channel, so make sure to check those out. We actually made a top 15 bucket list countries to visit in 2020 25, and Turkey was on the list. So back to the video. At number 6, we have Rose Valley and Red Valley. They're pretty close to each other, so I'm combining them on the list. Now, if you do end up booking the Red Tour, you will visit both of these places on the tour, which is an easy way to enjoy these spots, but Brie and I decided to visit the Red Tour locations on our own since they are all mostly close to Gourmet. To visit here, I would recommend going at sunset. It would be easiest to get here by getting a taxi in town or scheduling a ride with your hotel, but if you don't want to get a taxi and you don't want to do the Red Tour, another option would be to visit via hiking from your hotel. From the hotel we stayed at to Red Valley, it's 4.5 kilometers one way or 5.6 miles round trip. And you actually pass Red Valley along the way, so this is definitely doable. For number 7, we have something that you may do naturally, but you have to make sure to stay in a cave hotel. Cappadocia is a bit different when it comes to accommodations. It's not your average hotel room, but it is so unique. We stayed at the Ottoman Cave Suites in Gourmet and loved it. The Turkish architecture is something to be appreciated, along with the fun decor such as the Turkish rugs. It's unbelievable that the hotel rooms are literally carved into the rock. Most places have an amazing homemade breakfast spread included as well. For number 8, you have to make sure to set aside one morning to enjoy sunrise balloons from the rooftop of your cave hotel. This one goes hand in hand with the cave hotel at number 7. If you're staying in Gourmet, almost every hotel has a rooftop terrace with pillows and Turkish rugs where you can sit and enjoy the sunrise with the breakfast spread. Just imagine sipping your hot tea while balloons are surrounding you in every direction in the sky. Double check when you book your hotel that there's a rooftop, because this really is a wonderful experience and you'll definitely get some stunning pictures if that's important to you. At number 9, we have an awesome activity, and that's riding ATVs at sunset. This is something we booked in downtown Gourmet, and it was a blast. This one we were trying to save money and accidentally booked with a very sketchy company in town, but honestly, it made for a really hilarious experience. Our ATVs didn't work, nor did the ATVs of the other members in our group. They all kept dying every few minutes, and the guides constantly had to refill their gas cans, and many people got stuck and left behind at moments during the tour. So make sure you do some research with the company you book. Nonetheless, it was an epic adventure where we were able to enjoy many of the valleys and a beautiful sunset deep in the Cappadocia landscapes. The illuminating ancient landscapes were glowing with a vibrant orange hue. This was such a fun and hilarious time, even though our ATVs didn't really run, plus it was a pretty budget-friendly activity. And at number 10, we have the town of Uchisar and the nearby Onyx factory shop. If you don't stay in Gourmet, you'll likely be staying in Uchisar, another beautiful town to explore, with the Uchisar castle being the top of the town. Close by too, you'll have to make sure to check out the Onyx store in Pigeon Valley across the street. You will see some of this on the green tour if you do it, but just in case you don't do the green tour, you should check these out, and they're not far from Gourmet or Uchisar town. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, thank you so much. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the hundreds of other top 10 travel guides, hiking vlogs, trip itineraries, and so much more. But till next time, thanks so much for watching.